Week 7 of the fantasy football season. There's a few quarterbacks. I have his sleeper options this week. The first quarterback, Andy Dalton of the Carolina Panthers. So this Panther team, I know they're 1-5 on the season, but Andy Dalton, he's come in 3 out of 4 starts, and he's looked good for this Carolina Panther team, and he's actually been serviceable in deeper leagues for fantasy owners. Right now, available in 90% of fantasy leagues, and this week I definitely would use him as a sleeper option in those deep 2 quarterback leagues, or if you just got injuries at the quarterback position. Week 4 versus Cincinnati, 220 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, and INT. Week 5, a bad game at the Bears, 136 passing and an interception. And then last week versus the Falcons in Week 6, 221 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 21 rushing yards. So this week it's going to be a ball game at the Commanders, where they're going to be trailing early and often, I believe, is this Carolina Panther team. But the Commanders give up the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. So Dalton, we know he's an old school type of gunslinger. He's going to keep throwing that football a whole lot, stretching the field. And this week at Washington, we know he's going to have to throw a lot. And if you need someone who's going to get many opportunities to throw the football and be a deep sleeper, Dalton's that quarterback this week. Next quarterback, Drake May of the New England Patriots. He was a sleeper option last week, and he came through with a big ball game for fantasy owners, even though his team got blown out 41-21 versus the Texans. Last week, 243 passing, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 38 rush yards, and a fumble loss. Obviously, 3 turnovers in the game for Drake May, but he did throw for 3 touchdowns. He went over 200 yards in the game, and he's showing some running ability as well. So this week, a good matchup at the Jaguars in London, where they give up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. So Drake May, he's got a strong arm. I know the weapons aren't great. Pretty much Demario Douglas, Hunter Henry, the 2 viable options in the passing game for this New England Patriot team. But Drake May, high pick in the NFL draft for a reason, and we saw some of that talent last week. So if you need a quarterback in deeper leagues, Drake May's out there. Good matchup and a sleeper option, available in 87% of fantasy leagues. And the third and final quarterback I have is a sleeper, Tyler Huntley of the Miami Dolphins. Tyler Huntley, it's been a struggle for him so far with Miami, but now coming off the bye week, maybe he could surprise people, and it's a decent matchup with the Colts. Give up the 11th most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. So Devon Achane, he looks ready to go. He practiced in full the last couple of days out of the backfield. We know Tyreek Hill, he's healthy. Jalen Waddle healthy as well. And maybe getting in the playbook more and getting that bye week could rejuvenate this offense for the Dolphins. So then 2 starts this season, week 4 versus Tennessee, 96 pass yards, 40 rush yards, a rushing touchdown, a fumble loss. And then week 5 in New England, he was a game manager, 194 passing, an interception, and 7 rush yards. So Huntley, we know he's got running ability. We've seen it from him, obviously, with the Baltimore Ravens when he filled in for Lamar on and off over the last 2-3 seasons. Now out there in 98% of fantasy leagues, and he's definitely a deep dive quarterback. That's a few quarterbacks I have as sleepers for week 7 of the fantasy football season.